And welcome back
to another episode of the Not So Perfect Podcast. I am Matt Chin, as always, with my partner in crime,
Gerardo Cornejo. A lot of crimes committed here.
So we got us, if it looks a little different today's setup, we flipped our camera the opposite way so we can kind of see what we got going on. So
We can see if it's recording or not.
If things seem off, we're just tinkering with a newer approach today, or a different approach.
And Matt's quote said, "You never know till you try." So I was a little nervous, but
yeah,
another wisdom, chin wisdoms, we'll call them.
Chin wisdoms. Okay. I don't like. Maybe we need to come up with a different nickname.
You never know if you try. We will. By the end of the podcast, we'll figure it out. But fresh back from Montana?
Yes, got back late Monday night from Montana. Beautiful country out there. Left last Wednesday, and got back Monday. So in between Wednesday and Monday, we flew into Helena on Wednesday, day of travel. So we stayed in Helena Wednesday night, rented a car, and then we kind of took our time getting to Missoula, Montana, where the marathon was on Sunday. But we didn't do the straight fastest route to Missoula. We kind of took our time and went through Lincoln, Montana. And basically, if you go that route, that interstate leading to Missoula basically follows the Blackfoot River the entire way.
Okay, Blackfoot River.
So a little history for anybody. The Blackfoot River is where they shot the movie A River Runs Through It, which is one of my favorite movies. So my buddy Chris was also a fan of the movie. So we wanted to check that out. So, and literally the road to Missoula literally just follows. So we stopped several different times on the way there. They had river access where you could just pull over and go explore and do all that stuff. So we did that. Got to see some fly fishermen. We got to see some dudes on like mountain bikes with their dogs, and everywhere we stopped, we got to encounter like a different feel of Montana, you know.
Okay.
Some people were fishing, some people were doing some outdoorsy biking and stuff like
and
that.
You got a little souvenir, new hat?
Yeah, new hat. So I was trying to acclimate to the Montana culture up there. So it was a great time. Once we got to Missoula, had beautiful weather the first day, or the first couple days we were there, so we did some more sightseeing, some stuff there. Just gorgeous country. You know, everything's just... The world is great when you've got as your backdrop is like the Rocky Mountains. You know what I mean? Just another thing that's kind of hard to think of is so when we left on Monday, it was 48 degrees and just torrential downpour the entire drive back to Helena. And even then you would think, man, that sucks, man. Sorry your weather wasn't great. I don't know what was more cool, seeing those mountains in a clear sunny day, or seeing just how tall these mountains are where the clouds can't go over them. So you're driving through the clouds. So it was, I don't know, something kind of ominous, but spiritual at the same time.
Cool.
And me and my buddy Chris were talking because basically getting into Helena, you got to basically hit this pass. So you got to go up and over. And then once you get up and hit the over, it just opens up into this huge plateau plain of just, there's Helena down below. So I was just thinking, you know, what was it like in the 1800s when you're on horseback for 9 months and then you get over this pass and then there is what looks like just salvation, you know, God's country, literally. So it was a lot to take in, but just all things nature, man. It was great. And then Friday night, me and Chris, we ran the 3-mile beer run. We were just there for the run, not the beer. So we did a little 3-mile run, just kind of get a little shakeout in, just for our legs and all that stuff, traveling a few days and all that. So we did that on Friday. Saturday, we just kind of took it easy, checked out a couple local restaurants and stuff like that, all the Missoula culture, which reminds me kind of like a rustic version of a Columbia.
Okay.
So everywhere in Missoula, there's just mountain ranges all around you, and then there's a river that runs right through Missoula, rolling rapids and all that. So I mean,
the sound is even gorgeous. The sound perfect.
Yeah, just gorgeous, man. Everything about it. Everybody was super nice, polite. Just a great time. And then race was Sunday. Earliest race I've had to do yet. So
what time?
The race started at 6 a.m. So this course was not like a loop. It was just a start point and an end point. So they took us to, so we had to be on the buses by 4:45, I think we jumped on, and they bus you out about 30 minutes, 26 miles. But they bus us out to a little town called Frenchtown, and we ran from Frenchtown to Missoula. So Missoula is where the finish line was. So
it's the downhill run?
definitely not downhill. It was flat for most of it. Mile 14, there was a nice 3-mile hill, so a nice slow climb. But we made it through that okay. I was only going on 4 weeks of a training camp for this run, so I was not fully properly trained for this run. So it was different for me this year just because I didn't have a time expectation. You know, every year prior, I'm always trying to meet a certain time. But I did not have that expectation, just knowing I didn't get to do any long training runs or anything like that. Just been trying to keep up with my 12-year-old nephew on 5Ks. So knowing that and just going into that with just a laid-back, chill attitude of just, we're just going to enjoy it. We're going to take it in, meet some people along the way, and that'll be that. So for me, I knew the hard part wasn't going to be the physical aspect as much as it was going to be just the mental fortitude, just to know you're not trained. You haven't done all the miles you need to, but yet you're still expected to do the same distance. So instead of usually trying to run in the 8-minute mile pace, somewhere between there, my pace for this one was about 9-minute 45-second pace. So some things I took away that I was proud of, like I kept it under a 10-minute pace, which I thought was pretty impressive for not a lot of training. I think my final time was 4 hours and 17 minutes. So there was a point maybe at the 20-mile marker where I was kind of looking and doing some quick math and just thinking it would be kind of cool if I could do like a 4 hour or sub 4 hour marathon with little training. So that was kind of really the only thought I had, in terms of like, well, maybe if I push or do this or that. But, by mile 20, your body's already starting to break down. So it's probably best to just keep with what's been working the previous 20 miles. So I did pick it up a little bit at the end, just whatever I had left in the gas tank the last couple miles, just kind of went balls to the wall. But, when you're finishing in Missoula where you just got mountains, I mean, it's just, you can stay self-motivated pretty easy. And they did a great job, put on a great race. No questions, hiccups, they have a very well-ran operation, so much to the point where I also was taking notes on
I was going to say,
what to do to make
it was a business trip.
Yeah. Maybe I can write that off. I'll have to talk to my accountant, Leah, about that. But yeah, man, so it was a great time, had a great time, enjoyed ourselves. Me and Chris had a blast. And then Chris ran a really good race. He ran a 3-hour, 45-minute marathon.
Dang,
so he
shout
was
out
cooking.
to Chris.
Shout out Chris. But yeah, so it was 58 degrees on for our run, and it rained the entire time. And most people are like, God, that sucks. Not as bad as if it's 100 degrees.
Yeah, like outside right
I will
now.
take that weather and the circumstances and conditions any day of the week over heat. So all in all, it was a great race. Had fun, met some people there. Nancy Yeagers, who runs the Fleet Feet here in town and in Columbia, she was up there. We didn't know she was going to be there, so we met up with her and her husband and we did dinner a couple nights and just got to hang out with them a little bit. And then when they were done, they were going to head up. They were going basically another week, going up north to like Glacier National Park and hitting some of those national parks a little bit further north. So all in all, I had a great trip, great food. Everything about it's great. If you haven't been to Montana and you love outdoors and just air smells a little bit cleaner, a little bit crisper, and just everything was very clean. So I will say Helena does remind me a lot of Jeff City, kind of a smaller capital.
Okay.
Even so, when you go to Helena Regional Airport, it's probably the cleanest, nicest airport I've ever seen. And they're encouraging people to fly into Helena because honestly, everything like Missoula, Bozeman, I mean, nothing's over 3 hours away.
Okay.
Like Missoula was like an hour and 40 minutes from Helena, and we saved like $150 round trip by flying into Helena. No wait, no nothing. Literally, there's like 18 people, I think, in the airport, including workers, that were boarding a plane. So it was very smooth, very nice. But as we were getting ready to board the plane leaving Helena, I noticed they had a TV screen up on the walls that trying to promote like smaller capitals or capitals with smaller populations that don't have an airport or a regional airport. And guess who made the cut? Jefferson City, Missouri, with a population they said of 43,000. So
Shout out to Jeff City.
shout out JC. Let's get that regional airport up and running, boys. But no, I guess we do have Columbia about 20 minutes away from here, their airport. So,
I'm pretty lucky with that one.
but yeah. So if you have
How many people were in the race?
so the marathon sold out. So I think there were like 1,580 marathon runners.
Wow.
So Saturday they did the 5K and they did a kids marathon. And then Sunday they did the half marathon and the full marathon. So the half marathon, they only bust them out about 13 miles and they started and basically finished where we did. And then for the marathon, it was 26 miles out, 26 miles back. So I would assume they had probably 1,500 was their limit for 5K, all the different races they had. So there was a lot of people there.
2-day event, man.
It was a very well ran,
in.
very well oiled production. You could tell it was not their first year. So
Okay.
shout out Missoula Marathon volunteers and workers. You guys did awesome. And if I can, I will be back.
That's a great feedback for them.
Yeah. Yep. So left town on Monday, drove through the mountains in the rain, dropped the car off, got on the planes. Return flight went a lot smoother than the flight out there. Had some weather in Denver that held us up a little bit, but we made it. And then whenever I touched down in St. Louis, my dad did me a solid, and I called him and let him know we touched down in St. Louis. So he was kind enough to drive Carlos, my dog, back to my house so I didn't have to make another 40-minute round trip at 10:30 at night to do that. So came home. My dog was pleasantly waiting my arrival, as was I waiting for him. So yeah, man, all in all, a great trip and just a good time.
Glad you're back, and I'm sure Carlos is glad you're back.
Yep. But Grandpa kept him busy on the farm, so he was in good hands.
Sweet.
Yeah. But how about you? What did I miss while I was gone?
Same old Jeff City, just got hotter.
Yeah.
Just got hotter.
That was
very hot and
that
hotter.
was our pleasant surprise getting off the plane from Helena to St. Louis, and then we go outside and wait for our shuttle. We had to take vests off, long sleeve hoodies off, like. It was chilly when we left Montana, and it was not that when we got back.
Yeah, just dealing with that. No, finished doing our summer stuff and preparing for our 250th birthday, I guess, America's birthday. And we, the Cornejo Group, we're sponsoring the VIP tent inside the beer garden. So if you're downtown this Saturday, come visit us. Well, you got to pay to get tickets in there. It's exclusive.
Ooh, VIP.
But we will be under a tent. We will have fans. It will be cooler there. We have front row view of the concert and the fireworks right in front of the Capitol. So my biggest sponsorship so far that I've done.
Is it?
Yeah, in my career, I want to say, of sponsors. And we're excited. We're going to be there and serving some cold beverages.
Very good.
And free wine, St. James Winery, I think, or Canterbury Hill. They donated enough wine where there'll be free wine.
Nice. Everybody drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly. Yeah, just like the bottle says, right?
Yeah.
Drink responsibly. But it should be a great turnout. We got the parade at 6. There's supposed to be a flyover. Kehoe, the Governor Kehoe's going all in on this celebration.
Now, did I hear they got something going on Friday at the amphitheater?
Yes, Friday. It's a 2-day event. So Friday, Riverside
I think
Park.
everything's out of Riverside.
Yeah,
on Friday,
Riverside
right?
Park. There's going to be a hot air balloon glow.
That's
If you
right.
haven't seen one of those, the hot air balloons will be there. But at nighttime, they'll shoot the flames, and then it's pretty cool. If you haven't seen it. Events for kids and then a free concert. They are called, it's pretty much a 90s fun cover band. Yeah, so all of us millennials watching, they're going to play all of our hits.
Yeah. All the stuff that's on the flashback lunch, the retro lunch.
Yeah, the classic hits now, the
Yeah.
vintage hits. But other than that, we're ready to celebrate. Hopefully the weather is, it's not going to cool off.
Nope. It's going to be hot, but the sun should be out.
Rain, all the flood watches have been removed from the forecast.
Yep.
And just family time, barbecue time, and yeah, enjoy the time with your family and really celebrate even if you don't think we have freedom here, if you've been watching the World Cup stuff, go watch that stuff, those clips, to see how Europeans are realizing now. They're saying we've been lied to. We've been lied to about Americans. We've been lied to about this. We've been lied to about city. And the World Cup is in these big cities. So it's not like they haven't even experienced the small towns yet,
Yeah.
Missoula and all that. So they've been you've seen the I think Scotland has taken over Boston and drank those bars dry. In Dallas, of course, the size of everything in Texas is bigger, so they're experiencing that. What are other cool? Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is
I've seen some posts about
the gas station to be at in America. They've been blown away by Buc-ee's, and the coffee sizes. Their sizes.
Yeah.
They're like, mate, like look at this, mate. Like they want us to drink this. This guy's in the cereal aisle at the grocery store, and he's like, look at all these colors on these cereals. Like this would be illegal in our country.
Yeah.
So it goes to show the differences. I've seen guys walking around Sam's Clubs and they're just looking around. They're like Costco. They're like, mate, why is this necessary, mate? It's so big. They take these guys to Bass Pro and they're like, this is bigger than our cathedrals.
Yeah.
This is bigger than our churches.
Here in the United States, we've got room to hoard, I guess. That's the best way to put that in simple terms. But
Room to hoard.
Where if you go over to Europe or something like that, like everything's landlocked, everything's very tight, like nothing can get bigger, where our country is a little bit more spaciously laid out. So
They're by the ice machines and like, look, ice. Free ice. I guess in Europe they don't put ice.
One
in their
like
drinks.
even like air conditioners. I mean, that's not a guarantee everywhere you go in Europe. I mean, if you're in Italy, like you don't. I mean, no.
No.
Open
The
your
water's
windows.
hot. The
Open
room
the
is hot.
windows,
Yeah, open the windows.
Get a breeze. Get a draft in here.
There was a cool one. I mean, there's been a bunch, but it goes. Me and my mom were talking about this. Like, this is why we still absolutely love this country. We still respect this country. We still play by the rules. We had to become citizens of this country, and they're realizing how good we have it out here. But then we have our culture and how it's raised and what it's being pushed on.
Yeah.
And just for them to say we've been lied to, like the TV has been lying to us.
Yeah, and I mean, and
all along.
Here's the thing that I've kind of taken. I'm not a big soccer person or really World Cup or just soccer's not something I get super into just because I don't follow it all that well. But just one thing I have taken is just seeing that many people from not United States that are here getting experience what it's about. The thing I've been noticing is I haven't heard a lot of negatives. Okay, there's not a lot of fights and rioting and whole city takeovers of whatever it is that the mainstream media might be telling you that this certain type of people are prone to act like or prone to behave like or whatever it is. Basically, we're all people. It doesn't matter what line in the sand that we reside in, we're all people. And I feel like with us all being people, we all have very simple wants and needs, okay? Be kind to each other. Be kind to everybody in your neighborhood. Be kind to people you interact with. And guess what? I noticed this even in Missoula, and we were talking about this in Montana and just all of our stops that we made. Everybody's so nice, Like we were polite to people, and guess what we got back? We got people being polite back to us, and it just puts it into a frame that maybe things aren't what the news is telling you, or the mainstream media, or the government is telling you, because that's not their job, is to do the things that we think they should do. That seem very common sense like. But boy, lower taxes, make it easier to live, make sure everybody flourishes and is happy, and this and that. What we're seeing from that scale up top, the federal government stuff, they're trying to take all that stuff and they're just trying to slowly just bleed it out of us little by little. So, the thing is, don't believe everything you hear, do your own research, check it out for yourself if you want. But from what I'm experiencing, the different places I've gone and traveled to and checked out, everybody's nice as long as you're nice to them. All this stuff you see on TV about these riots and protests and whatever it might be, like, I just don't see it, And I'm the type of person where I'll read something, I'll look into something, I'll watch a video on something, but I'm not sold on it because I have to make an assessment for myself. So don't just be a puppet that's just eating a full bag of Doritos while just believing everything these people are telling you, because I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, not to take too much time here, but I did go down a little bit of a rabbit hole.
We like rabbit holes.
So,
the
Smith-Mundt Act, which was passed in 1948, basically was the rule that our government and our media cannot propagandize its citizens. Okay, that means they can't push narratives. They have to be telling us facts of what's actually happening. Well, in 1948, that also meant that we could broadcast stuff to other countries for them to hear. Not meaning that's what's actually happening in our country, but they could propagandize other countries. So, example I read was Cuba. They love listening to American baseball. So they always made sure pointing at Cuba was the American baseball, but also the propaganda tied into it. So somewhere along that line, whatever they were broadcasting was touching a part of Florida, which is illegal because they can't broadcast that stuff to United States citizens. So the Smith-Mundt Act basically negated that. So now there is no boundaries of where they can point the propaganda. So guess where it's pointed? Right at us. So other countries are hearing stuff. We're hearing the same crap. So make your own assessments, okay? Listen to what they're saying. If it doesn't sound right, if it feels off, if it's something in your guts telling you it doesn't sound right compared to what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, there's probably a truth to it.
And that's almost 80 years ago. So imagine the generations that are just being programmed.
Well, tell me how many times you listen to the mainstream media and believe what they're saying. I don't.
It's hard.
And it's hilarious because they believe themselves. You know what I mean? They're the only people they're fooling are themselves. You know?
And
the 17 people watching Fox News, CNN, MS, whatever it is now. You know, so, man, keep it local. Find independent people, you know, look for different opinions that surround all different aspects, because there's people I listen to that I don't necessarily always agree with, but maybe they show a shining light on a circumstance that I haven't thought about before, thus allowing me to think more critically because I have another point of view to look at it from, you know? So, man, all I'm trying to say with that little deal is be nice to your neighbors, be nice to your community, do good things for your community, okay? We can't affect what's happening on a worldwide scale, okay, by one person. Yeah. But if we make our town better, our neighborhood better, our community better, it's just going to work its way outward, you know? So we live in a great place, but honestly, we can't be dependent on federal government employees to save us, take care of us, da-da-da-da-da. That's what they would love to tell you, is that they're going to take care of us and keep us safe. Well, by doing that, by the end of it, they're going to need our guns, they're going to need our homes, they're going to need our cars, and we're only going to be able to go, you know, so far before we're not safe. Okay?
And be kind to yourself. Be nice to yourself.
It starts, guys, it starts with you. If you can't look in the mirror.
Which is the hardest thing to do. That's
if you can't look in the mirror and forgive yourself for all the bad shit you've done in the past, you've got to start, you know? And I'm only speaking from someone that had to take that long, hard look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen my first year of sobriety. It didn't happen my second year of sobriety. It's taken every single day. And June 18th, I celebrated 7 years of sobriety. So it's a never-ending process, guys. So that's the best way I can explain it to you. You're never done, but that's okay. No one's ever done, you know?
And it's a fresh start every day.
And every day. If you ask God for forgiveness and you can forgive yourself, guys, it's a freedom I can't explain. It really is, you know, and it's and you don't realize it until you're there, you know.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at your life and you're not happy with where it's at, start with forgiving yourself and asking God to help forgive you. You know, help ask God to help relieve that weight of all that of your past off of your shoulders. And man, it's a great way to be able to look at life moving forward.
We're already our toughest critic. I mean, just by looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Not even just by looking at our image, we beat ourselves up so much.
Yeah.
You know, but I've been struggling with that, and it's like, you got to get your weight down. You got to get your weight down. You got to look better. You're 42. Don't be the dad bod, like me killing myself in my head. But it's like, man, you worked so hard that you've been able to put this roof over your kid's head. They each have their own bedroom. They're in here safe. My wife it's safe, you know, like start with that. That's examples of, I think, being kind to yourself. And then it's like, all right, now let's go be kind to other people and go help other people.
Well, as the man of the household, that's one of your responsibilities, is to keep your family safe, you know? So you can't neglect that. It's just not something that you can do. Now, in terms of like I got to get my weight down, I got to put on some more muscle mass, and I got to cut out this belly stuff, like, another way to look at it that's less pressurizing or putting less pressure on yourself would be, did I dedicate 20 minutes for myself today? Because here's the deal, like whenever I started doing my workout every day and running every day and all that, the goal wasn't to have a six pack, to be able to bench 225 pounds, to squat this and deadlift that. No, like I was running and working out because that's the only place where I was done where I had quiet in my brain. So I didn't care what the result was. I just knew it worked, you know? Now, by running for 2 hours at 11 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning, and then working out an hour during the day, for me, that was my time that I had to give to myself to get better.
Yeah.
You know, and that was me fighting through demons and hating myself and just all the things I was working through when I got sober. But my goal wasn't to look great, to be the strongest looking, most ripped guy ever. That's just a byproduct of what I had to do to make it through my day, you know? So that was just my price of admission was, well, this is what you get in return. You know, you put in work, you get something for that work. That's what I got, okay? It was a secondary obligation of what I was looking for. I was looking for peace and quiet in my brain because it wouldn't shut up ever. Late at night, trying to go to sleep, just stare at the ceiling for hours and hours because the brain will not be quiet, will not wind down. So in order of doing that, you look great too. Now, my goal wasn't to lose 100 pounds. It was to help my brain be quiet. So if you're doing hard work for yourself and you have the right goals set in mind, you can really make good progress by just showing up for yourself every day. If it's 20 minutes, if it's 30 minutes, if you've got the time to do an hour, do what you can, but just show up every day. It's the consistency of showing up every day for yourself, because if you're strong and you're healthy, you can do a better job defending and protecting your family. You're going to feel better about yourself because you look the part,
Your brain
feel the part,
works better.
you know, and think, you remember what Deion Sanders used to say? You remember what his slogan was?
If I look good, I play good.
Play good, you know how it goes? Okay, so Deion Sanders, he always said, look good, feel good, play good. Play good, get paid good, okay? Now, I'm not saying get paid good in the terms of Deion getting a $20 million contract. What I'm saying is
Bonus.
Your payment is you're healthy. You maybe do have a six-pack 6 months down the road when before you were a little flabby around that midsection. You don't get that. You don't get the result the next day. It's going to be showing up every day, and over the course of 6 months, you get out of the shower and you're walking by the mirror and you have to stop. You're like, whoa. And you can see the results, but it's not overnight, you know?
And they had 6. I like what you said though, but did I take 20 minutes yesterday? Did I drink one less coffee? Did I eat one less cookie cartridge? My fiasco, my madness, you know? But I've been reading a lot and doing a lot of stress stuff now because in your 40s, everything seems, it's hard to handle stress. It's just a lot more stress.
How many guys have we lost in our community that are in their 40s?
And since the last podcast, probably 4, maybe 5.
We've only been off like week and a half,
Yeah,
2 weeks. And that's just in our small town.
yeah. An awful stat. I was hanging out with a cardiologist the other day and giving him a tour of Jeff City, and I was asking him, I was like, hey man, what's the biggest problem with what you know? And he's like, just diets. He didn't even go, I was waiting for him to say like sugar, quit eating sugar. But he was just like, your diets, like just eat what you can pick and grow, or like eat what's real. Keep it that simple.
Keep talking.
Yep. Keep it that simple. Because I thought the problem was sugar. And when I told him my problem, he said, well, sugar is just inflammation. And I was like, there's my problem. I'm always inflamed and da-da-da. Speaking of cardiologists, I thought he was going to be like, oh, obese people with sugar creates the problem and diabetes, da-da-da-da. No, it's like you start with diets. And what's fueling all this is fueling all this. It's destroying your blood and all that. So since that conversation with a cardiologist that I had for free, sugar consumption has completely changed and I've heard it for years. You know, sugar causes inflammation, sugar this, sugar that. Mm-hmm. My dad watches sugar a lot because he suffers from diabetes. But he also made a good point that the problems you're having now is probably a problem that started 20 years ago.
Like I said, you're not going to see that body change
Back to the compounding,
working out, but 6 months down the road, if you're eating shitty for 6 months, you're going to look worse, you're going to feel worse, your brain's probably going to be full of mush, and you're probably not going to have a whole lot of positive things to say about yourself when you look in the mirror.
Yeah, and consistency is tough. Like Matt looked like, you said 7 years sober now. Matt looked like this 7 years ago. But he didn't feel like this 7 years
No,
ago.
I looked in the mirror and I hated myself. Couldn't stand staring at myself for longer than a second. It was awful, awful. But again, you know, what you're putting in your body, the things you're doing for yourself, it's not, guys, it's not rocket science. I don't need to be a doctor or a PhD or be in school for 38 years to figure this out. I had to figure it out my way. So you're gonna have to figure it out your way. But if I can show you a path to fast track that, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what hopefully Gerardo's trying to do too with you guys is it's not impossible to reach, guys. And when you think about, oh, I can't, you know, if I tell somebody that I work out an hour a day, you know, and it's somebody that's busy, oh, I don't have time, you know, I wish that must be nice. You know what? I wake up at 4 a.m. every day. You know, I make sacrifices to make sure I can do these things that I am preaching to people that I do every day. You know, I'm not here to just showboat and act like I do this and I do that when instead I'm, you know, behind the door here, I'm just shooting myself up with steroids and HGH and, you know, trying to make it look like what I'm doing is a lot less than what I'm doing. I don't take any of that shit. I've never taken any of that shit. Anyone that claims that I have, first thing I'm going to tell you is steroids are for pussies and people that can't do it on their own. Okay? Now, if they're in a point where you're older and you need that, there's a medical reason for that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the perfectly healthy people that if they dedicate themselves and are disciplined, they can get this shit done on their own. Okay? That's the differentiation. Because that's always what comes up. Anytime I meet someone new that thinks they know something, is how much steroids you taking, how much HGH you taking, how much TRT you taking.
Well, peptides.
And when I tell people I don't take any of it, they don't believe it. Because why? They don't have that discipline to do that day in and day out. They do not.
That's me. I don't have that discipline.
But again, you got to find yourself where you're at. I didn't start one day just waking up running 20 miles a day and lifting 1,000 reps a day. I was not. I built up to it over the course of months and years, and then here we are. You know?
And for the females watching, this is a story with Stacy. Stacy has finally found a program that works for her with an accountability partner that works for her. They're doing the macro counting, whatever. And it's Stacy realized when she's crunching the numbers, doing the math, how much fat she was eating when she was just snacking, how much unnecessary carbs were going in and the protein stuff and all that too. So she looks better than ever, mother of 3, has to deal with me at all the time. But she's like, that's not what I see in the mirror. And I was like, I didn't put 2 and 2 together, you know? And I was like, I'm telling you, you look the best you ever did. But she's like, and it's just a female thing. Like, the scale hasn't changed that much, so why should I feel any different? When she just sees, every woman's gonna be different, but I didn't really know this. But she's been consistent. She looks phenomenal. Even people are noticing, you know. And she's in her upper 30s, but she's trying really hard, being consistent, counting every meal.
Yep.
Does that get annoying? Yes. But is she on a mission? Absolutely.
Yeah.
To be present for her kids.
And starting off with her starting off where she's at, yeah, she's got to write all this stuff down and log it and make sure this and make sure that. That's when you're starting something. You know, if you do something long enough, you know you don't need all the tools to help you once you kind of get the routine and stuff down. You just know, can't have that, can have that. Can't have that, I can have this. It gets easier, you know, but at first, if you're wanting to be serious and you know that that's where your shortcomings are, get help. Get an accountability buddy. Get an app that can help track macros and micros. If you're not sure what any of that stuff is, look it up. Okay, learn a new skill. Learn something new that you didn't know the day before. There's nothing wrong with learning and getting smarter along the way. So along with my physical stuff I do every day, I read every day, 10 pages, that's it. 10 pages. And you know usually what happens by the time I get to that 10th page? I want to read 5 more. Okay? So the 10 is just a benchmark. It takes about, depending on what you're reading, 10 to 15 minutes tops. If you're a slow reader, maybe 20. All right? But you can do that first thing in the morning. You can do that before winding down, before bed. It's discipline, guys. It's not rocket science, and it's not, I don't have superhuman powers. I really don't. You know, so to kind of fall on that, just out of curiosity, I was talking about this with my clients at 8, because she was curious. After running 26.45 miles at the Missoula Marathon, how many calories do you think I burned in that 4 hour and 17 minute and 37 second ordeal?
I got the screenshot, so I know, but I'm going to guess If I didn't know, I would have probably guessed like
5,000, 10,000, something crazy.
a high number. Yeah, like 6,000 calories maybe.
Okay, so you would guess 6,000 calories. So if you're listening to this, before I say this, just think of a number in your head. Okay?
Of how many calories Matt
How many
burned
calories
during
I
a
burned
marathon?
during a 4-hour and 17-minute marathon where you run for 4 hours and 17 minutes and 37 seconds. Okay? 2,856 calories, so almost 3,000 calories. All right? When I told my client that at 8 o'clock this morning, she was shocked because she was expecting that number to be astronomically higher. So, my point of that is when you look at people's diets and how much they eat and how often they eat and how frequently they eat and the portion sizes that they eat, you will realize that we don't need to eat as much as we do. Mm-hmm. You know, another tinfoil hat.
Yeah, that's exactly where my head
tinfoil
went.
hat rabbit hole I went down was where did the idea? Because for me personally, like I don't really eat breakfast a lot unless it's a special occasion.
Yeah.
You know, I love breakfast food; it's one of my favorites, but I don't eat a lot just because I usually intermittent fast until like 11, 12, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But the idea of breakfast was not always a thing. It was something that was created to help increase the pork industry because they weren't selling as much pork as they needed to. So next thing you know, we got Quaker oats, you know, all the stuff that isn't great. And once we got an increase of breakfast, or once we introduced breakfast to the American breakfast, quote unquote, colon cancer went up 18%. So fun fact for you guys, a little rabbit hole.
And
I
a
went
breakfast could be 2,800 calories.
And that's kind of my point. So in running one marathon, okay, you get to have one breakfast of a 3-egg omelet, toast, bacon, and hash browns. So just think of that when you're eating that much food and you're cleaning your plate, you better be expecting to go run a marathon in order to burn those calories.
To be back at zero.
So put that in perspective of everything. So if you do that 3 times a day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which I know people that do, and the portion sizes are the same for every meal, you understand why they look the way they do, why they feel the way they do, why they think about themselves the way they do. We don't need to eat as much as we do. All this country does is they push quantity sizes. The biggest milkshake you've ever had, the biggest breakfast you've ever had, the biggest bowl of
the
pasta you've
Europeans
ever
are like,
had.
this is the medium. Look at this is the medium.
Yeah.
He has to hold it with 2 hands.
Yeah, and I have not been to Europe, but I have heard all of that. Portion sizes are actually reasonable. You know, it's not an all-you-can-eat buffet. Not a great way to go about that.
Well, even the fancy restaurants.
I know.
When the fillet and the veggies are $60, $70, that's all it is. It's 6 ounce and a small cup of veggies.
Yeah. Yep, maybe
That's
some
how they
potatoes
eat.
or
That's
something.
that's fancy dining.
Yeah.
My neighbors told me the story back to the World Cup stories. This guy goes to the airport and he's giving security, and the security's like, "This ain't you. Like that's me. Like that ain't you. You're fat. This guy's skinny." He's like, "I've been in America for 3 weeks. Like, what do you expect me to look like?" So they didn't really think it was it for 3 weeks here, but that'd be crazy eating all. And that's stuff that we have to avoid for 30 years in America living here. You know, look what happens to them in 3 weeks. But
Yeah. So
but
I mean,
if there's something we're preaching today, I think it's just find a way to keep it simple.
and learn how to love yourself, guys. You've got, in order to make a positive impact on your household, in your life, in your family's life, in your community, in your neighborhood, you have to start by being able to forgive yourself for what you've done in the past, regardless of what it is. Ask God for forgiveness, and then through that, ask yourself for forgiveness. And if it doesn't work, keep trying it. Keep trying it. Keep trying it. Because the more you do it, the more confidence you're going to build. You know, and in doing that, look good, feel good, play good, get paid good. You know, if you're married and you got a wife and kids at home, do you think your wife's going to want to go climb into bed next to someone that's taking care of themselves and that respects themselves, or do you think they want to climb into bed with someone that's insecure, jealous, not happy with where they're at?
And
so then they got to take it out on everybody else around them because they just feel insecure and not satisfied with where they're at. You know, so choice is yours, guys.
It doesn't have to be that hard.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And
And men, yeah.
we are the ones that make it hard. We make it hard for no good reason, but up here is where it gets complex. Simplify things, make it super easy. If you got questions, guys, reach out, comment, ask us questions.
Yeah.
We are here to help in any way we can.
Prayers to those families that are losing the guys that really need help. And I want to end on this note. Matt made a life-changing comment to me because I'm starting to get mad at these guys committing suicide. Why would you do that to your kids, your family, your wives, your mom and dad? Why would you do that? But what did you say? It's like, you can't be mad at them.
It's very difficult to be mad at somebody in that situation if you've never been there.
You don't know what he's been through. And that's always like,
I'm fortunate that I came very close to doing the same thing that some of these people are doing in our community. And if you ask me today, if I would have said the same thing I said 7 years ago, is I don't think I want to be here anymore. I'm not helping anybody. All I'm doing is making life harder on my family, on my mom, my dad, my brother. That was my daily belief, was that I need to find a way to get out of here, because all I'm doing is hurting myself and those that care about me. And I believed it. I really did. It was not saying I was figuring out ways to kill myself, but subconsciously I think I was. I was drinking, I was driving, and I didn't care if I lived or died, So I almost was too chicken shit to do it myself. So instead, it was almost like I was tempting the gods to have me swerve and, have a car accident where it's, blame isn't on me all the way. But it's very hard to describe this, guys, into words. It's just a feeling that you get where you just feel like...
It sounds like confusion in your head and just thoughts, virus up in there.
It's just it's a mind virus that just every day takes a hatch at your, or a hack and a swing at my tree. And the tree's not going to fall down on the first swing, but if you keep coming back and taking one swing every day at that tree, it's going to go down at some point. You just don't know when. And
Man.
That's what it was with me, And, I've repeated those words that I said 7 years ago to Linda and Gerardo up front the other day when we were talking about this. And it sounds crazy that I could actually believe those words that I would say. Today I love my life. There's no amount of money or there's no object in this world that could ever, make me even want to think about picking up another drink, because I know how far I've came from then and all the work it's taken in between then to get where I'm at today, And again, guys, it's just showing up for yourself every day. And if it's 10 minutes, if it's 20 minutes, if it's 30 minutes, if it's different every day, do what you can for that day. And you can lay your head down in bed knowing that you did what you had to do, And you feel better about it, because when the days are hard and the days are tough, it's easy to put that off. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll double up tomorrow. Fully knowing you're not going to.
Yeah.
When you do things that are hard and challenging that you don't want to do, and you still get all those boxes checked every day. I ate good. I worked out. I went for a walk. I read my book. I played catch with my kids. Me and Stacy had 15 minutes to sit and chat about budget or whatever. When you get those done and you write them down and you see all the checks, like, man, I remember at noon there was no way I was getting this list done, and here we are, 9:30. We're good. It's a sense of accomplishment, and no one else did that except you. So something to think about.
Love your life. Life is beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you for watching
Not So Perfect
podcast.
Till
Peace,
next
everyone.
time.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th of July.